Hi class, I'm back. I do apologize. I wasn't around last week to post a video. I was unfortunately caught the flu, so I wasn't able to, be presentable over the camera. I'm also in the middle of a move, which is, it has been pretty difficult. I left my laptop at my mother's house, so I'm back tonight to retrieve my laptop. I'm spending the night and doing this video. I know it's a day late, but like someone else said in the video before, better late than never. So this week what we're doing is we're reflecting on the videos of our classmates from last week. So I did go back and I did see everyone's videos from last week. I wasn't able to comment on them from last week, but I did view them and I did choose 3 people for this week's video. I have here Katie, Manuel, and Javira. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing the name. Everyone mispronounces mine often. So I want to get into it. I know that this last week's videos were more about language barriers and growing up, with some people having trouble speaking English or others thinking that Americans should learn another language other than English. So with Katie's video, she had stated that her family was kind of discriminated for being Hispanic and because of the language barrier. And I totally relate with that because my grandparents, my grandmother more, and specifically, she only speaks Spanish. She's actually been here for a really long time, and she's been here for a while. And it's unfortunate that still she has not completely grasped the English language. She hardly ever speaks it, doesn't really know much of it. So it does become difficult for her to communicate, or the judgments that people make, or the way that they treat people who don't know how to speak English. It's definitely offensive, but it also is upsetting, just given the fact that she's lived here for so long. I feel like someone who puts themselves into a different country and lives somewhere else for so long should adapt and learn the language, because it's something that helps you in everyday life, something that can help you progress. Not to say that she's not successful in her own way. I remember another video, I don't remember which classmate it was or what his name was, but was saying that you can be successful even if you don't know the English language. And not that I don't agree with that, I just feel like not learning English and when you come into a new country kind of just sets you, it limits you in a way. It's not to say that you won't be successful, it's just that you're kind of just in this bubble and you can't really get out of that bubble unless you learn language. Like I had said in my video before, I had jumped into a different culture when I lived overseas, and it was definitely intimidating being around everyone who knew one language and didn't really know English, and I felt like it was my job to learn their language and to be able to speak with them versus them speak with me, because I moved there. I chose to be there, so I shouldn't expect for them to communicate with me and have to learn my language. I need to learn their language to communicate and be a part of everyday life. Moving on to Manuel. I kind of just jotted down notes. I apologize. It was more in regards to a comfort zone and being comfortable speaking. He said that he had come from his own country, and when he came here, he was comfortable speaking with his cousins, and although they knew English, they kind of spoke Spanish with him, and it's kind of just more of I understand, because a lot of my family came from overseas, and it was great for me as someone, I grew up here, to practice my Spanish with them and speak Spanish, but it also kept them in a comfort zone that they needed to break. I actually have a cousin who came from his own country not too long ago, and what we would do is I would speak in Spanish and my cousin would speak in English, so that way we can practice and both try and break that comfort zone, because I'm not that perfect at Spanish. And moving on to Javira, I completely 100% connected to what she had to say. where my grandparents pretty much only watch Spanish channels all the time. That's all they ever watch. And I actually, to keep up with my Spanish, because although my mom came from a different country, we only speak English at home. We hardly ever speak Spanish. I think the only time my mom ever speaks Spanish to me is when I'm getting in trouble for some reason. It's just like, I think like a Spanish thing where when you get upset, it's like it just comes full force in Spanish. But anyways, actually, speaking of my mother, I remember when I used to see, kind of going off from the first story, where you are born in a country, and when you come here, you kind of adapt into the new culture, and you kind of forget about where you came from, or not forget, but you just lose, your connection to that culture. I have videos here, cassettes of, when my mother was younger, and she used to have this like thick Hispanic accent, and she grew up in a different country where all she spoke was Spanish, and now it's like all we speak is English, and it's like I can't see that anymore. I can't see who she was in that cassette. It's the whole accent is gone. My mom has completely become Americanized. Not to say that she doesn't still have the roots, because I mean, my mom, she was just cooking pupusas the other day. But it's just, I connected to that because I seen that transition within myself, within my own family. I used to hate, being Hispanic, and knowing that I can speak Spanish. I used to hate it when people would come up to me and, they would call me like, Mexican, or they would try and talk to me in Spanish. I don't know why I hated it so much, but I became to appreciate it when I was overseas, and I was so appreciative of knowing another language, and being able to speak to other people in another language. And actually now more so than ever, when I have my job, and it's like you actually get paid more for knowing another language. So I definitely connected with those who had that language barrier within their families, who spoke Spanish and so on and so forth. And I think that you can definitely learn from that and adapt. But yeah, I look forward to posting more videos.